Hi Leo, welcome to your May 2019 relationship reading. This reading is intended for people who are struggling in their primary relationship or who are struggling to get over an ex and that sort of thing, or deciding should I contact them or accept their desire to get back together, that sort of thing. I just got this card for Scorpio, so it's not surprising, for May. May is I was going to say the spring, but that's only in the northern hemisphere, obviously. But a lot of you will be in the northern hemisphere watching this, so it still stands for new beginnings, I would say. And now, when I get the Nine of Swords, I pick an additional card. Okay, we get another Swords card. So we've got several swords here. And this Swords person might be kind of a problem. So we're talking about, let's see, what Swords person would a Leo? Well, your opposite sign is Aquarius. So oppositions are actually challenging aspects, but when they are incompatible, since they are incompatible elements, there is it's a complementary sign since it's your opposite sign. So there are things that are harmonious about it within that greater opposition, Oh, and this card is connected to Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, so that kind of brings it all home, I guess. So this reading is for people who are in troubled relationships, so you don't need to watch if you're in a happy relationship. The heart of the matter is the Fool card, and this is something that is like a big focus for you right now, for whatever reason. And to me, within a relationship, some of these cards suggest some sort of new beginnings, and this reading is intended for primarily for people who are still within that relationship. So it almost makes it sound like you are divorced, or if you had a domestic partnership, you left that, but maybe that other person wants you to come back. And you're wondering, should I do this again? Also, if you're still connected to your partner, but you are separated, I could see that. I mean, and perhaps even within a relationship with two people who are living under the same roof, you may simply feel like it's your time for new beginnings. And this means that you want to just like be free of that relationship. And yes, I mean, here I have in the past position the Four of Swords, and this can indicate some kind of respite, retreat. So perhaps you were separated from this person. Maybe you went to a spiritual retreat, or were just living on your own and really mulling over the situation. And you have come to the conclusion that you would like to start a whole new adventure. It probably took a long time to get here, though, because you may have felt as though you did not want to necessarily leave the relationship. Even if you're the one who asked for the separation, you may have felt that you had no choice. Leo is people say, oh, Leo is loyal, but Leo is a fixed sign. That's the more important thing. All of the fixed signs will be seen by others as loyal, but sometimes it may simply be that they are just so turned off by the idea of being of like making change in their life, that they would rather stick with the devil they know. And so this isn't really what loyalty is all about. I mean, the definition of it. So it's kind of like a little bit of a stretch in all cases to suggest that a fixed sign is being loyal because they refuse to give up on the relationship. It might just be because they're comfortable within it in spite of all of its problems. The higher message is the Ace of Pentacles, and so this is looking at it from the philosophical point of view. This is a card of new beginnings that have a very strong foundation. I'm thinking of a different word though, that are not just grounded, but yeah, I don't know how to say it. I don't want to just sit here and try to think of what I meant to say, but something along those lines. And as a spiritual message, it might be reminding you that maybe the relationship that you have been in right now was really not, it was always on shaky grounds. Because perhaps you got married because you or the other party got pregnant, or you got together because somebody was on the rebound, and it wasn't really very conscious. It was kind of like just doing something for the sake of doing it, and or trying to conform to some thing that you know, outer morality, but not really, that really was coming from within. By the way, I'm getting a little distracted because I just heard a door slam, and I'm hoping it's not the landscapers, because this is the time of year. I got a brief respite from it with the leaf blowers, and then all of a sudden you're here, you know. So anyway, yeah, so there could be something like that. And this is like also preventing you. There's several cards here about new beginnings, and when you are not allowing yourself permission to be that adventurous fool, then you cannot have those new beginnings, right? You're kind of mired in the past. And actually, we have here as the challenge card, the Ace of Swords. So this could be some kind of denial. Because in the upright position, the Ace of Swords is like a new beginning that comes from clarity of thought. And so if it's in the challenge position, it means that there is this, maybe there's something inside of you. Yeah, but he really didn't mean to cheat, or, you know, yeah, he's mean, or she's mean to me, she's disrespectful, but she's just stressed out because of her job. And so making excuses for the other person and things like that, just to kind of stall from actually taking action and doing what your heart is yearning for. And and the point I'm trying to make is that with the Four of Swords, you've probably thought about this in depth, but you still may retain a bit of denial. And so the advice is the King of Wands. And I always think of, I don't know, it might be Sagittarius that this is representing, but I always think of Leo because of the royal aspect and the royalty aspect. And the King of Wands is a double masculine energy. So it's all about, and of course, fire signs are wands. So it's in the nature of a Leo person to have this kind of, I was going to say cojones, you know, have this, you know, have the guts to do something that may be difficult, may not be easy. I'm always amazed when people can leave a long-term marriage, even if it's not been that good, because they're going to be alone. Unless, of course, they've gone from one relationship to the other. But some people know. They just don't want to be with that person anymore. And it's got to be difficult on some level, even if you don't get along with the other person, because you have to rely on yourself. And especially if you've been in that committed partnership for decades, you get into those habits, and then you have to do something entirely new. The King of Wands is a very confident individual and is very like empowered and dynamic. You know, there's a sense of like enthusiasm for life and wanting to kind of share their gifts with others, I think. And you know, maybe, you know, a lot of ambition. So the career is important, and, you know, it can be very difficult when another person kind of drags you down. And this is like feeling that sense of like, I have a clear vision for my life. I know what I want to do. You see people who I call self-actualized people, who they always seem to make these life-changing decisions very easily. Like they're not afraid of the unknown. And that's kind of what the Fool is all about, is like embracing the unknown. And the outcome, I did pick an additional card because this is not, you know, an outcome. This might be more of the cautionary tale of what happens if you don't make the change, because this is a card of anxiety as the outcome. And obviously I don't think, but you know, it could be either way, because it could be that you have to accept that there's going to be perhaps discomfort if you're doing something like this. And the best possible scenario would probably be being able to gradually disengage from somebody. And that's what I think separations are for, where you learn how to live by yourself, but you still have that kind of a safety net of being connected to that person still. And the Nine of Swords can be just the anxiety that is present. You know, even if you are trying to make something work, I mean, there's anxiety no matter what. There's anxiety if you stay, but there might be anxiety if you leave. It's just part of life, especially when you are changing things up. So expect there to be some discomfort. Maybe some of you will not experience this. I did pick an additional card, and I got the Knight of Swords. So this is a card of a lawyer. So this could be like, that's your next step. And sometimes that's another thing too. It's like, oh my God, I'm going to be all alone. I'm going to be doing this. And that's not the next logical step, is worrying about that right now. The next logical step might be consulting with a lawyer. The Knight of Swords is also somebody who tells it like it is, who lets the chips fall where they may. So perhaps this is something that I would associate with a fire sign. And in fact, even though swords are connected to the air signs, and I mentioned Aquarius, the other ones are Libra and Gemini, but even though this is a swords, and therefore may be an air sign, there is the fire element with the Knight. So that's both of those suits are masculine. The swords and the wands. So or the fire and the air, both of those elements, I should say. So that there still is this sense of like asserting yourself. And maybe for some reason you have felt like your voice has been kind of squelched. Is that the right word? Where you haven't been able to really be who you truly are. And now you're going to be more authentic and more who, you know, there isn't going to be that artifice that you felt like you had to construct in order to keep the peace in a relationship or whatever was happening. Okay, Leo, that's what I have for you. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and if you'd like a personal reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.